Hi, I'm Julie. This video is going to be about what I've learned this past year speaking out against the multi-level marketing industry and the high control coaching group I was a part of as well for 5 years. It's going to be in no particular order. And for me, it's important to speak out. And I really, really love making content. And I really like having no rules in making content. I was someone that was considered all in the multi-level marketing industry, like many of us are, whether you make a lot of money or not, most of us are working really hard. I was one of those people that, getting additional coaching, there's a lot of us that, I don't know, like perform at a high level. We're capable of doing a lot every day, consistently for years. So I have a unique perspective on the multi-level marketing industry and the coaching group. I did a live video every single day for 3.5 years straight. I didn't miss a day. On top of that, I was one of those people that was making 50 pieces of content, unique pieces of content on Instagram, Facebook, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, a shit ton of TikToks. YouTube, I made a lot of videos on YouTube. They're gone. Content on my business page on Facebook, in my customer group. Plus, on top of that, I was prospecting people at my peak, 200 people a day, cold messages, following up with people, 40 a day. That was usually my average. So all of this isn't meant to be like, look at how much I did. This is such a flex. It's that a lot of people are doing things very similar to this. If they're not creating a lot of content, they might be hosting trainings for their team. A lot of us are capable of doing a lot of work and being blindly dedicated to doing that work, striving to make the world a better place and improve ourselves. All this is said, what I've learned from this process is that it's freeing for me not to have a timeline or a certain thing that I talk about. I can create content on whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want. Right now, I feel really good about making anti-MLM content on YouTube. So I'm going to ride this train and see where it goes. It's also why I don't monetize my content, because for me, it would change the way I create content. I don't want to be inhibited by whether I get monetized or not, or whether if I say something, it's going to piss someone off. I don't want to have any rules. I want to be free to whether I create or not, if I take time off or not, So I hope that gives you a little bit more information about who I am and why I'm speaking out. I know there's a lot to everybody. We're all individuals. We all have, it's very hard to explain in a simple video who we are. So I hope if you are watching this, it just gives you a little bit more insight as to my motives and who I am and how I think. And I think this will be helpful to people who are similar. Maybe, I don't know. It might be helpful to anybody. It doesn't matter if you left the same high control coaching group I was part of, or if you're just leaving a cult, because all our stories are similar and there's concepts that can be taken away that are the same, and they can help us all. So I don't want to just like niche it down to be like, if you were in rank makers like me, this might help you if you choose to speak out. But that's where I'm thinking. That's where my mind is. In no particular order. These are some of the things that I have, observations that I have. Early days of speaking out against the multi-level marketing industry, I kept expecting like the behavior not to be so predictable, but cult behavior is predictable. There's only like a few things that people say just over and over and over again. And I kept thinking like somebody's going to say something and I'm going to be like, oh, like, I don't know how to respond. Like, what do I say? But it's always the same. They just cycle through. It usually starts off, I'm so sorry that was your experience, but that wasn't mine. That's the kindest one. You'll never hear somebody within a multi-level marketing company that feels the need to fucking comment on anti-MLM content that doesn't do some kind of dig or attempt at gaslighting you. It's always trying to get in there. It's so weird. It's so fucking predictable. So I'm so sorry that was your experience, but that wasn't mine. My company is different. I felt like you until I found this company. They can't just not say anything. It's like they have to come in and they have to put their 2 cents. And it has to be that there's something wrong with you or there's something wrong with your mindset. Very quickly, if you even respond, what I've noticed anyway, is and why I've chosen not to respond to people because they're in a cult. You cannot have a rational conversation with somebody who's in a cult. And I know because I was in one, I was in two of them for 5 years. And I was the same way. I was so defensive. I thought everybody was a hater. You don't support me. How can you? And I'd use all kinds of manipulations to make others feel bad if they didn't support me and my dream and my vision. Can't you see how hard I'm working? So on the other side now, I see that. So I don't respond to people. For me, I thought I wanted to make safe help to contribute to make safe spaces on social media for people exiting the multi-level marketing industry and for those who have exited to comment safely because I noticed as soon as you make a piece of content, all these fuckers within network marketing come out of nowhere and are just like filling up your comments, sending you private messages. That it's just like I never did that when I was in network marketing. I never did that, but I'm like the scale at which this was happening, I was like, holy shit. And it's predictable. So that like anticipating that people are going to say something different or behave differently and then like constantly having it shown that it's not, it's the behavior is the same. I would see other people speaking out and they get the same comments. The few people that I chose to like do video replies to, it never ended well. That's why I don't do video replies to people who are still within multi-level marketing. Only unless they're starting to question. You can tell. It's fucking obvious. And it's really obvious when someone's in the multi-level marketing company and they're trying to like be sneaky, like trying to say their company is different or they're just it's you can see right through it. And I know people could see right through me when I was behaving that way. And so I don't respond to people now. I'll just like I'll either let the comment stand sometimes or I just delete them because it's just you're not spreading your cultic bullshit on my social media spaces because it's I know for me even just growing, this is even outside of being in multi-level marketing, is that just growing on TikTok, it can be very uncomfortable for people just to leave a comment because they're putting like a target on their backs just by commenting. It can be very people can be very private, and for them to even want to leave a comment, it's a vulnerability. You put yourself out there, and it'll be discouraging. It can discourage people from leaving a comment if they see like a whole bunch of negative comments stand. However, when you're in the multi-level marketing industry, it's like it's tied to people pleasing. You don't want to remove any comments because you think, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings. It gets all twisted and messed up, and you've got no boundaries, and you can't say no because no doesn't mean no. It means not right now. And this person might turn out to be a really good person. You might recruit them, or they might recruit somebody else that ends up being the top income earner and gets you to the top. It's like every relationship is transactional. So you have to let every comment stand on all of your social media accounts because just in case, you just never know. So then like healing and coming out of this, I'm setting boundaries where I'm like, no, this isn't allowed to stand. It's deterring people who I want to comment away, letting these fuckers stand. It's like, you don't have the fucking right to talk to me. You're not entitled to my time. I don't give a fuck if you have a difference of opinion. You're in a cult. Go on Facebook. You got all of fucking Facebook and you got a multitude number of groups where you can talk all the shit you want, not on my fucking pages. That's how I have chosen to deal with it. And it's been very good. At first, it was fucking horrible. It was hard because it's like there's this trend. As soon as you start speaking out, all of these people come after you. And then it's like they understand your boundaries or they fuck off or whatever. That's what it's been for me anyway. I was comfortable speaking out on TikTok first because that's where I had more of a following. Fuck, I hate even just using that word, but people like a community, even that is like weird to use, but it's true. Instagram, I was afraid to start posting anti-MLM content until after I had an interview with Daniel Bolster from Huns to Humans. It was kind of like she gave me the courage to post on Instagram. And she gave me a really good piece of advice. She's like, creating anti-MLM content is for like one perspective is for people who have already left or who aren't in the multi-level marketing industry. You're not trying to convince people that are in to leave. It's just for people who have already left, right? And that was helpful. However, I knew that there was people within the high control coaching group I was part of that were looking at my content, and I knew that some of them were questioning as well. Even early days, I knew that was happening. I sensed it, and I could see people looking and sometimes commenting and liking my content. I'm like, that's a big deal. And Facebook was, I did end up posting on Instagram, had a similar response on, like I did on TikTok, had all these people within the multi-level marketing industry start filling up my comment sections. How can you say this? You were just greedy. Just the weird fucking people I don't even know. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Why are you acting like this? It's so weird. And then it's not weird because cult behavior is predictable, but it still was like fucking shocking. And I'm like, I didn't feel like I had the strength to fucking deal with it. I mean, you're on social media. It's virtual space. Why the hell do you have to start wasting your time now dealing with all these assholes leaving comments about multi-level marketing when you're saying it's a pyramid scheme? Like, just why the fuck are you commenting on my content? Never once when I was in multi-level marketing did I ever go onto anti-MLM content and leave comments like what I have encountered. And then last place I posted was on Facebook, and I was really scared to post on Facebook because I knew what was going to come. I knew I was going to get the fucking heat because that was where the network marketing coaching group is on. That's where it's located. That's its home. It doesn't have a website. It's got a website, but that's not how it operates. We'd go in there and watch daily live videos. We had a big, strong community. It's all on Facebook. So I knew a lot of the friends that I had, so-called friends, they're just fellow people in network marketing. And a lot of them I met through this coaching group. But I saw another person that had been in the coaching group. She had made a video on Facebook saying why she was anti-MLM. And I was floored. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, that takes balls. And so I was like, you know what? If she can do it, I can do it. This is the power of just like one person speaking out. And it's like your example, just your behavior can lend strength to others. And she lent strength to me, unbeknownst to her. And so that's when I decided to make my first piece of content on Facebook too. But I had experience because I'd been speaking out on TikTok for a few months and then on Instagram. So I knew what was coming. And I'd also grown on TikTok and had like my fucking share of weirdos coming after me, you know? So I knew probably what was going to happen on Facebook, and it did. And I had the people, it was mostly people from within the coaching group that fucking came after me. They would not leave me alone. Every day I had to remove their comments. I made it clear. I would even say in the posts, I am helping to create safe spaces on social media for those who are leaving. This is not the place for you. But they don't care. Because you're in a cult. Cult behavior is predictable. They fucking come after you. However, I'm consistent as fuck. And eventually they stopped. I blocked enough people, deleted enough comments. It seemed that they'd respect their boundaries. Every once in a while, one of them gets through, I just fucking block and delete. And also more people had started to speak out on Facebook too, people I knew. And more people started to comment, felt safe enough to comment on the content I was creating on Facebook. So then there's like a safety net for others to also comment. If I let those other comments stand, those people wouldn't comment because I know I wouldn't have commented. It would have chased me away. It's giving them like the stage to speak on. You don't get to fucking come into my house and spew your bullshit. You know, that's how I kind of feel about it. So that's one of the first things, that the observations that I've learned. Another thing I've learned is it's really easy to spot the way people manipulate. They try to manipulate you. So for example, a really common thing that I've noticed within multi-level marketing is that leaders, and particularly multi-level marketing coaches, they will say that everybody that criticizes them is a hater. And they expect the response to be a defense. They expect people to say why they're not a hater, because then that conversation detracts away from them taking accountability for their actions. So mine is like, I don't give a fuck. I'll just agree. Yes, I'm a hater. Whatever you want to say about me, whatever you hear about me is 100% true. If you're told you shouldn't look at my content, then you shouldn't look at my content. Because my point isn't to be going against any particular leader or coach. My aim is to speak to the people who are leaving, who are too afraid to ask questions publicly because they've seen what happens when someone even dares to question something, an assignment, a task, the futility of sending out a prospecting message, anything like that. They've seen what happens to others. They might just have this sense of like dread, where they're like, why do I feel this heaviness and dread and worry when I'm supposed to be a part of something so beautiful and positive and uplifting? This doesn't make sense. So what I see is it's very easy to just not participate. When you're within multi-level marketing, these coaches, these uplines, leaders, people that know what the fuck is going on, not the ones that are still like brainwashed. When the ones that know what are going on, they expect people that are outside to behave the same way that they did when they were inside. And they're fucking rattled when you don't. They don't know what the fuck to do because they're used to being in control. They're used to being in control of you. And when you don't behave the way they want you to, the only thing that they have, because cult behavior is predictable, is they just call you names and they call you a hater. And the way through this, for me, what I choose to do is just like, I just ignore it. I just agree with them, or I just agree with them. It's an indication to me how effective the anti-MLM movement is and the scale at which they must be getting pushback from clients, from their downlines, from customers, from people not signing up or not even purchasing or canceling their auto ships because of growing awareness. And they're also critically thinking. That's the other thing I wanted to mention. This is another thing that I've observed, learned about myself, that for me, in order to speak out effectively, whatever that is for me anyway, has been to be willing to feel all the feelings and acknowledge all of them and accept all of them. When I was within multi-level marketing, there's emotions that are labeled bad and good. And you want to not never feel whatever the bad ones are labeled, which always means like what you would imagine: anger, sadness, grief, anything like that. That's considered bad. That's considered other than. So you can imagine if you have like somebody in your family passes away, or you have anything that's really hurts you, you're not allowed to grieve because that's taking time away from your business. It's extremely unhealthy. So anything that's so one-sided, you can only feel certain feelings. Those are the only ones that are going to propel you or to grow you. Everything else is holding you back. It's bass backwards. You need to have all these things. It's like you need to have rain to grow the tree. Rain isn't bad. Rage isn't bad. Grief isn't bad. Happiness isn't always good. If there's these labels of good and bad, it means fuck all. So for me, I thought I need to be able to fucking own all of my feelings and all of the conflicting feelings. Good and bad, they're existing like side by side within me. Anger and fucking gratitude, or like, I don't know, happiness, all of it. All of it. I have to be like, I can be comfortable in all of it. I don't need to say that this is all wrong or all bad or all good. I can say it's fucked up and then I can use dark humor through this. I hope that's making sense. So it's like standing in your truth, I guess, kind of thing. Being, you know what? If I'm going to speak out, I need to be so okay with just owning all my feelings about everything. And that's been real. It's kind of been uncomfortable, but it's only been uncomfortable because for 5 years, it was like, you have to always be happy. And it was easy for me to kind of trigger myself into that state because I am kind of like, I can be sarcastic as fuck and super fucking negative, but I can also be really happy because I like to laugh at things. So it'd be easy for me to like kind of always trigger back into this happy state, but it's also very unhealthy because I wasn't acknowledging, I wasn't able to just live a real life because you're not living, you're like missing all this other half of life by just saying, no, all of that's bad. It's really fucked up, you know? I hope this is making sense. I hope this might be helping one person out there anyway. Last thought that I have for right now is that when I started to speak out, and I don't know what your experience might be like, what I experienced was that it was incredibly isolating and I had no one initially. There were, and there are now even more, and anti-MLM creators. I wasn't friends with any of them. Although when I began speaking out, gradually I became friends with many of them. But when I left, I didn't have anyone. I had, and that's not entirely true. I had like a market partner that was underneath me. She had left at the same time I did. But because I had been her upline, I recognized early on that we couldn't, it wasn't a good dynamic for us to like work through things together because there had been an unfair power imbalance built in because of being involved in Mon8. I'm her upline, you know, and I knew, I'm like, I can't help you because it's already fucked up, you know, and I don't want to fuck up our friendship even more. It's about turning within, you know. I hope this is making sense. We're still friends. And we're good friends and we're becoming better friends now that we've both left. So I didn't have anyone because I couldn't have anyone because that was the only person that, you know, had left with me. So it was really fucking isolating, but I knew that I had to speak out. That I knew. And honestly, anybody that knows me would know that if when I woke up, I'd be fucking coming out like a ball of fire. There's no way. I couldn't, there's no, you can't change behavior like that. That's like part of my personality. If somebody's getting fucked over, somebody's getting screwed, I will be the one that has the big mouth and says something. I've always been like that. In grade school, little boys picking on girls, I'd go tell the teacher. You know, my dad was in the military, and these kids, I remember their dad was at a higher rank, and everybody was too afraid to say anything because their dad was at a higher rank than everybody else. I'm like, I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, they're wrong. I got in shit, of course, but it's like, it's never prevented me. And I knew this wasn't, I'm like, I have to fucking speak out. That's how I felt. But because I felt I was alone and I was doing it, I came under so much fucking attack at first, those first few months, that when I finally had connections and started to make more friends, then other people started to leave that I knew, and then we were able to start healing together, that it's like the moment had passed when I needed that support, you know. And I knew then, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, that sometimes in life, when you have to do these really hard things and you wish you had the support and the only thing you have is your moral compass, that it's gonna work out. And by the time you have the support, you'd be like, it would have been nice to have this at the beginning, you know? But you had to do it when you had no fucking clue what you were doing. You just knew that what you were doing was right, and you had no support, and you didn't know how to say things properly. But it comes, and it's like it's almost like you really do need to have that strength within, even though you don't feel like you have the strength within. Sometimes you've got to follow your moral compass. And eventually, if you felt like me, that you feel like totally alone and you don't have anybody, you're not alone. You are alone, but you're not going to be alone for much longer. There are people out there, and they might not be in the high control group you were a part of, or they might be. But the strength, it's not like you had this strength, you were so strong to do it. It didn't feel like that at all. It felt fucking horrible. But I was stubborn as shit too. And I knew I had to. I'm like, well, there's no choice. It's like have everything or lose it all and do the right thing. It's always going to be lose it all and do the right thing if that's the choice, you know. That's who I am. So anyway, I have no idea if this is helpful, but I think if you're watching my videos and they are helpful to you, this might be helpful for you too. Everybody says things in different ways. Every creator says things in different ways, and sometimes you move from one creator to another as you're healing, and you need to take a break from taking in anti-MLM content, and you go find something else, and that's good. So I'm hoping that this random piece of content, there might be something in here for someone. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.